The Blacksteel Greathammer is the coolest looking weapon in its class. It has that wonderful black and gold design, the power imbued in all Greathammers, and even a unique guard counter. As a fan of 60 vigor, good damage negation, and very large weapons, this run was rather enjoyable. To grab the weapon, we need to head into the DLC. Take a right and the path downward to the Church of Consolation. Around there, you'll see a Black Knight wielding the weapon. Finish him off and he should drop it for you. The moveset for the most part is the typical Greathammer moveset. Big light attacks and gargantuan heavy attacks, perfect for breaking poise. Unless you mostly use light attacks and play very passively, you are going to see a lot of poise breaks in this run. If the guard counter was normal, it would be great because we have a great hammer, but with this Blacksteel weapon, there is a holy explosion that shoots out for every guard counter you execute. We have split physical and holy damage, so scaling strength will increase our physical damage, and scaling faith will increase the holy damage, and that holy explosion after the guard counters. The weapon is infusible as well, and while for this run I was mostly focused on the R2 attacks, Lion's Claw did come in handy a few times. I had some spare FP after the incantations, and it was a nice addition to the arsenal. I didn't buff it with a Shard of Alexander or anything like that, but it still deals great damage and will help flipping you in to connect with your enemy when you would be out of range with the heavy attacks. The two spells I used this week were Golden Vow and Order's Blade. Golden Vow increases our damage by 15% and damage negation by 10%. When using a slower weapon with heavy attacks, there's always a chance we can be hit, and the Ash of War Lion's Claw has great hyper armor. More damage negation means more survivability. The weapon is infusible and already has holy scaling, so the incantation Order's Blade will give us even more holy damage on the weapon. We could have used a Grease or something like Sacred Blade, but Order's Blade only consumes FP, and Sacred Blade would replace our Ash of War. With the heavy focus on this build, Lion's Claw with Order's Blade is more appropriate. For our playstyle, we used a Flask, Golden Vow, and then Order's Blade. With our damage negation pumped up, send out those fully charged heavies, and if they're a bit out of range, a Lion's Claw. Now, you may notice in some of these clips, I'm not really using the guard counters. The reason I didn't use them so much is because, first of all, that Holy Explosion scales off of Faith, and this was a strength build. I also play on New Game Plus 7, where enemies deal a lot more damage, and this is a completely new playstyle to me. The guard counters are great against elite enemies like knights, but I want to make sure my builds can be applied to as many bosses as possible and still be effective. At the start of this playthrough, when I thought of fighting Promised Consort Radahn or Melania with a guard counter playstyle, I changed up pretty quick. If you need to take out a lot of elite enemies and want to use those guard counters, you can use that matching Black Knight shield, or the deflecting hard tier, and the curved sword talisman. And if you're running through some areas in this game, those guard counters will serve you better than you expect. So therefore, my question for this week ties into that. Have you ever used guard counters before? And if you are to use this weapon, would you use it for the heavy attacks or those guard counters? There are so many great ideas that come to mind when I think of guard counters for this build. Use the brass shield for something that weighs a little less, blood-sucking crack tier, holy shrouding crack tier. So many ways to build around this weapon, I might revisit it soon, honestly. I still want to utilize the guard counters more on this build, perhaps if I try a New Game or New Game Plus run, and it happens to be on a week where I'm not getting pummeled in the new Night Rain DLC, which if you liked that game, you should totally buy that. The two new Night Lords were really destroying me, but they are so much fun. And for more videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to The Jersey Side. Our talismans for the build were the Dragon Crest Great Shield for 20% more physical damage negation, the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman for better stamina regeneration, the Axe Talisman for better fully charged heavy attacks, and the Two-Handed Sword Talisman for 15% more damage with a moveset. Our tiers for the build were the Spiked Crack tier for even better damage with the charged heavy attacks, and the Opaline Hard tier for 15% more damage negation. I was thinking about using the Black Knight armor, but I had to use the Solitude set. Someone mentioned it in a comment a week or two ago, and it's been on my mind ever since. I love this armor so much. Our stats at RL 170 are 60 Vigor, 20 Mind for the Incantations and Lion's Claw, 45 Endurance, because the armor we have on and our weapon, they weigh quite a bit, 66 Strength, as this is where the lion's share of our damage comes from, at least 11 Dex to use the weapon, 13 Intelligence for Order's Blade, and 25 Faith for Golden Vow. Whether you want to play with the moveset, an Ash of War, or those unique guard counters, the Blacksteel Greathammer has you covered. So if you've yet to try out one of the coolest weapons in the game, now is a good time for a Blacksteel Greathammer run.